Inusah Fuseini, a former member of parliament, Edima Tamale Central. Now, or cancer me was say Dr. Bossman Asare told someone that the EC can't allow the NDC to win elections, and the person he told was alarmed. You see, from the one, Yababe Electoral Commissioner Sem say this particular electoral commission a crime scene. Na say enye the vigilance of NDC. Any Ghana for binuma, any abutra kakra ye wa, and anka epese ye gidigidia. Ka because of Bossman Asare and the J Mensa, ka omai we omubugum long time. But nyankopa adum ya ye no boko saa bedru hande ama ya hunde winner. Mumma yentu ye boase na yentie Inusah Fuseini ne nsem waka nsem bebre headline na me dia ma ono to boase na tie ensem a o ka wo de ye bekọ back to history ne ye call so mre bi etwemu ene ne ye koso nda wo behun say easy way a crime scene.
Because to my mind the collation process was still ongoing, and I've heard people cite the case of Tolong, the case of Zabzugu Tatale, the case of Pru. This is exactly what happened in those constituencies. The collation of results through the pink sheets of the various designated polling stations had not been completed. In fact, in the case of Zabzugu, the place was becoming very unsafe for the electoral officers. And so the ballot box, the whole process was moved to the regional office in Tamale. In the case of Tolong, where Abdul Razak became the first NDC MP after Honorable Salifu Abdullah, the wind, there was no way the collation was going to happen in Tolong. In fact, the ballot papers, the ballot papers, including the pink sheets, inserted into the ballot boxes were destroyed. So they moved the process of collation from Tolong to Tamale and asked the contestants, the various candidates in the election, to produce their pink sheets. And when they produced the pink sheets, they matched them and verified the authenticity of those pink sheets and collated the results in Tamale. This is significantly different.
And this was in 2004.
It's significantly different from what has happened. Indeed, journalists were at the various polling stations, and no journalist reported that a presiding officer of the electoral commission at the at the collation centers that are now the subject matter of these disputed elections was under attack. No journalist reported that. And police officers were assigned to those collation centers. And we've not heard the police say that they were overpowered by a Marondan group of people, and that put fear in them, and so they also abandoned their duty, their post. We have not heard that report. And the rules, CIF 127 says that if your agents, you assign agents to the collation centers, or yourself, you're present at the collation center, or your representatives, if in the event that the results are going to be declared and you abandon the collation center, that should not operate to stop a declaration being made. And so the laws are so clear that I don't think that the High Court, and that's my view, the High Court should have entertained this matter, because there were so many remedies available to the losing candidates to pursue after the declaration of the results. And for me, I think that we should be very careful the path we are treading. And the last question that Oliver Bakavomawo asked is very relevant to these discussions that we're having. He asks whether the EC can recollect results without a court order. Can they? It's my view that they cannot do that. In fact, I even extended to 2020. You remember, I made a lot of comments on the EC changing the results of the presidential elections 5 times. I simply asked whether the EC could do that without a court order. And today, Oliver is asking the same question.
Now, and the court said what?
The
EC could do that.
The court even didn't entertain the EC. The court didn't even entertain the EC.
What do you mean by that? The case was concluded.
The case, the matter never came up. The matter,
that didn't go into the box.
Yes, but the court never pronounced on whether or not the EC can declare resource and change the resource 5 times. And Samson, this matter is very important for our democracy, for our country, the cohesion of our country. In fact, it is only by God's grace that the people of this country are peace-loving. And they have elected democracy as a form of government over any other government. The conduct of the EC, which is highly incompetent, could throw this country into a mess. And the people could rise up against the EC and this country would be in flames. Because even with the 7 constituencies, can you imagine what the conduct of the EC could do in these 7 constituencies? Now, it has been said time and again, and particularly for Bossman Asare, that he's repeatedly said, first he said on radio that the NDC was a veritable threat to our democracy. As recently as November this year, he's reported to have told somebody that the Electoral Commission cannot hand over power to cannot allow the NDC to win the elections.
Martin.
Really, yes. In fact, the person he told that was alarmed.
I don't think this is fair. What we know about was what is on record, which the statement he made on April 26, 2019, as reported that NDC's posture a threat to Ghana's democracy. And this is what he said. I want to read it because this comes up often and we don't go to the specific statement. And sometimes he himself denies it, even though this is what he said. So he said, quote, "I think if there is anyone who is becoming a threat or a potential threat to the democracy we are practicing in our country, then I would rather say that it is the posture of the NDC. Since this new commission took over, we have noticed some of the things that have transpired. Before the Ayawaso West by-election, allegations were rife that the register was bloated, and we also noticed pictures of bloated papers. So we as a commission, we have seen a particular pattern of the NDC. So I don't see why the NDC will turn around and accuse the chairperson that her actions were a threat to democracy. This is the only commission that is committed to Ghana's democracy because we are operating within the law."
How can they operate within the law? Which law? Their law, which is in their hearts, or the laws establishing the Electoral Commission and the various EEI promulgated pursuant to the Constitution? Because we don't see what they are doing founded in the laws. We don't see that. And so let me state that what I have said, Samson, is a matter that can be pursued, and that will be pursued. Because the person to whom he said that to is alive. And the person was shocked that a member of the EC could openly declare that the NDC must not win the 2024 elections. And that person is willing and able, anytime that this matter comes out for investigation, to appear before any committee or commission.
Right, so I will be going to the judgment of the Supreme Court in 2021 about whether or not the EC can correct.
So you see, we Inusah Fuseini, former member of Parliament, Tamale Central, was a Bossman Asare, no can say the EC cannot say NDC is the winner of this election. That's why I'm Timbe can say Kabaumian consider defeater. ka Bossman Asare ne Jimensa begu kuruwe. One more easy officer na they were working for MPP. Nobody should convince you say na Bossman Asare eya adwuma Mahama and I say your friend say Ghana and I so be. Bossman Asare no more hot to what to worship Baumia and Akufuado. Kabaumia consider defeater. One kwasi ade no mo year 2020 no come the same thing this year. James and Bossman Asare can they will do the same thing. Kaentisa who electoral commissioner you only supervise over it. How can you be a what? A lecturer or a teacher? No be try exam. No be catch there on the say. Who try pass kura one pass you may fail you. Lecturer body ben no. Yen two about na Bossman Asare na make kase we will not give NDC power. And the end there easy na decide ni po win elections. In Ghana for easy. Easy. I told you that these people were not ready to lose power. They told Bossman Asare and Koda, hey, mama, nyambrine lusu amajuma bebomu. So they were busily working for MPP. And until no more transfer vote to Basa Sano. Omunyina ya MPP for Bossman Asare Jemensa omunyina mu MPP for. And they assist on Wakugu. This is where we are. To way and Sama Inusah Fuseini about Bontia Beka. Say Bossman Asare say Inusah Fuseini ebwa on release crat and kaso obwa. Then we see. Simple as that.